Hi, AT from CNC at Home. When using craft plywood, there's an issue with it. It's a really nice material. It's strong, it's thin. The problem is the sheets aren't flat. They're not consistent. I don't know if we can get a good shot of this coming down the edge. But if we look down the edge, it's got a little bit of a wave to it. This one isn't too bad, but it also likes to twist and warp. So what I'd like to do is show you a new method that I have for holding this flat. In the past, you may have seen me use this large chunk of metal. It weighs 5 pounds, and I can set it on here and it will hold down. See, like this corner doesn't wiggle. This front corner does wiggle a little bit still. And this side wiggles over here, and this wiggles over here. So only one spot will this hold things flat. And I can maybe find a spot that'll, doesn't really hold it down. I had gone online and looked for some clamping solutions for the honeycomb wasteboard. One of the products that I saw was something that would fit down through one of the holes, and you could kind of twist it. It would hold in place, and then you could push it in and it would hold the material down. I wasn't too sure how that would work, but I was going to order some, and then I saw something that looked like a much better solution. You can see how that wiggles back here. I needed something that with low profile, stay out of the way, easy to use, and would hold the material down. And one option that I saw was using magnets. And as I thought about that, I realized, or I remembered, that I have some magnets. I have some nice neodymium magnets. They're very strong, they're very powerful. And I can just put this near the corner. Now that corner is held down. It also stays out of the way. You can see how much wiggle there is back here. I can just take one of these and set it on there. No more wiggle. So this side is clamped down. Okay, this back is hanging up a little bit. So I can clamp that one down. And then over here, this one's up quite a bit because of the warp in the material. I can clamp that one down. Now I can either put this right on top of the material and it's thin enough to hold it down, or like I did here near the corner, I can just get it on the edge. And that allows me to get the laser in fairly close. I have this focused and onto the material, and if I had a clamp here, it just clears, but I can hear it scraping. So even though these are low profile, this shield filter still kind of rubs across these, and that spells danger. So as long as we keep the shield up out of the way, the nozzle, the air assist nozzle, just clears. Not too bad. When doing burns, as long as we make sure that the travel of the laser doesn't hit one of these magnets, this material is held down really well. It's a simple solution. These aren't too expensive. I'll put a link down in the description as to where I got them. Let's see how it works with other material. This isn't really a different material. This is the zeroing template that I use with my atom stack P7. Not that I have too much issue with it, but I have run into an issue where this has gotten moved. I can put a couple of these magnets on here like that. It'll stay out of the way of the laser because the laser head will be working over here. I could even put a third one over here. Again, it should be out of the way. If not, I can move it back a little bit. Now that's really held in place. This is not going to move. I think that's a great solution. I made this tile template a few weeks back. There's a video on that. I'll put the description up in the corner, right about here. Shouldn't be an issue. It could be, though, once I get this squared up using my registration marks, all it takes is just a little bump, and now it's messed up. Once I put this in place, I can just take my magnets, place them in the corners, and then I should be good. I've started doing some burning with cardstock, and it also has a tendency to move around. When I was doing the testing to get my burn parameters, I just placed a couple of these magnets onto the paper, and that's going to hold this in place. Let me just grab that, and that's holding really well. I mean, I moved the wasteboard. So it has quite a bit of holding power, actually. So that paper's not going to move. It makes me wonder about tiles. Typically there's not an issue with tiles. They don't just accidentally get bumped and moved around. It could happen. Many times I'll have my zeroing template on the atom stack, and if I hold this down with magnets, I just need to make sure that's pushed into place. If I'm not using the atom stack, I could use the magnets for something like this, where I put them in strategic places, and it becomes a template. So there, yeah, that works pretty well. So I just have two here, one here. This defines my X side. This is the bottom of the Y axis. And yeah, they stay in place pretty well. So I can get consistent repeatability for something like that too. I don't think they would work on top, and they would get in the way quite easily. Although, again, not quite sure why I would do this, as this gives me very little working area. So that does add quite a bit of holding power there. I could put them off to the edge, maybe something like that, if I really was worried about it getting bumped. What about a big old chunk of wood using for a plaque? Yeah, that's really not going to do a whole lot. It's too far away from the metal. I still could use this similar method where I put one on the different sides of the material to hold it in place, depending on how secure I want that. Something like that, maybe. And then that just gives me, something that's repeatable. Not super great. I mean, I can move the magnets fairly easily, so not the best solution. But the more magnets I had down, the more holding power that's going to have. So maybe an idea. If I'm very careful, then I can get repeatability on something like that. What about a dog tag? That's almost laughable. These magnets are bigger than the dog tags themselves, almost, so that's really not going to be a great solution. Usually the dog tags I'll do on the atom stack, and I'll just have it in the corner. So again, having magnets on this zeroing template will hold that in place so it doesn't get bumped around too much. So I think that's going to be a great solution. So something small like this, not a great way to clamp. All in all, this is going to be a great solution. I just need to be careful where I put these. They're very strong. Even between the magnets, it has this nice little donut spacer, and that's to help keep these from sticking together too well. That's something something I really have to watch. Even putting these back together, I've pinched my finger more than once. And they're very strong. And I want to keep them away from, from the stepper motors that are in the machine. One of the things I thought about was I could store these on top of the rail over here. Yeah. It has a little bit of holding power. Well, that's because the stepper motor is right underneath it. And I would think a big magnetic field on top of the stepper motor is likely going to mess up movement. And I don't want to take that risk. So there's nothing right under here. I could just set them here. This is aluminum, so they're not going to stick. It's a great way I could feed them off. But to be on the safe side, I'll keep them off to the side somewhere so they don't interfere with any of the burns. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. These magnets seem to make really good clamps for the laser. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects.
Oops.